Dating in America is brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source.
The Gold and Diamond Source has been in business for nearly 4 decades and is one of the largest family-owned jewelry stores in America.
We have the largest selection of white and fancy colored diamonds and gemstones you'll find anywhere.
We also have private areas for VIP viewings.
Only at the Gold and Diamond Source.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarina Fazan, and welcome to On the Record, the Dating in America series. You know, I'm in love with love and love this series. But this show really, I feel like, should fall into the Love in America series because I have Mark Royals here, Lynne Thompson, together for a decade now.
Yes.
Very romantic.
Slightly over, yeah.
Yes, and also let me say, huge fan. Mark Royals, I'm sure that name is very familiar. Played for 15 years in the NFL, including for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my old stomping grounds as well, New Orleans.
I did.
You did. And but Lynne, who's a fashion model, can you tell? Can you tell? I can tell. Does that so annoy you sometimes when like, oh, yeah, Mark Royals, I know him. He played with the NFL. Are you like, what about me?
Yeah, well, it has been different though too, because he used to get like every time we go into a place, he would be the one that people would notice, and now we're kind of like sharing the spotlight because people would see me.
We're not sharing the spotlight. It's all on her. I stand behind her a lot of times when we're walking through crowds, and I'm watching the guys. They're just like, and I'm like, bro, I'm right here. I can see you.
Looking at her. And you know, when I asked her to just now about, oh my gosh, you know, like everybody's talking about Mark, you are so humble and so sweet that is not even in your, what is that called, Mark? It's not even in your bones. You know, English is my 5th language, so I get a little confused.
Yeah, like to me, her looks are not her greatest asset because she's such a sweet-souled person. And it came across from the first time I ever met her, because I told you the story. We met through volleyball circles. And when I first walked up and saw her, it just kind of oozed out of her that she was just this kind, nice, friendly, humble person. And that really spoke to me.
And you guys have been together for, again, 10 years. January 27th was your first date. And you met organically, right, Lynne? I mean, both of you were divorced and not really looking
Not looking at all.
Not looking at all. So
No.
Can you share that?
Oh, well, every friend of mine, every family member, they all had the perfect guy for me. And so it's like, no. You know, I kept turning down like everybody. And then I just pretty much just wanted to just give up on men completely until his ex-wife's best friend is...
Okay, hold on. His ex-wife, best friend,
came to me while at a volleyball practice, and she says, I have the perfect guy. I'm like, okay, you too. And she just started, no, really, just listen to me, you know, like, and they started like talking about him and stuff, and I, just about his person, how he was, how of a father he was, you know. I didn't know that he was in the NFL until our third date.
Oh.
I didn't play that card at all. I was like, I mean,
because I probably wouldn't have dated him because
Really?
The model and the football guy, you know, is kind of like, it's such a cliche.
Oh my
the funny thing is that I told her more stuff on that date than I told anyone, but the NFL thing I didn't bring up, and she didn't ask. I didn't see it had any relevance.
So let me ask you though, okay, so because it is, I mean, what is it? It's 0.02% of the people make it into pro sports. So for you not to bring it up, I have to say, I really do commend you for that.
Yeah, and I shared with you off camera, I knew her backstory, and my whole intent for going out with her and taking her on a date was I wanted her to have a great evening and just enjoy a night out with no agenda. And she probably got more information than she wanted the first night, but I told her everything. And I didn't know that she knew most of it already through the friend that introduced us, but I told her all the warts. She knew them all. I told her, and
it was very refreshing.
And I think she freed up at that point to tell me all the things. So 6 hours of dating and talking, we learned a lot about each other in one night. So
A 6-hour date, and I had a chance, to talk to them before the show. This show is unedited, unscripted, but sometimes we have some moments before the show. Lynne brought another couple with her on the first
The one that set us up.
she did.
date. They left.
Yeah,
Like
within like 3 minutes, he started showing me pictures of his kids. I started showing him mine, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go now."
Like, we're good. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are good.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But I mean, she hadn't dated in 18 years. That's how long you were married, right?
Since I was 18 was with
Since she was
my
18.
ex-husband, and then we were married for 17 years, and so he was the first guy that I dated since I was 18. besides
Wow.
me.
So he's the only guy
Yeah.
that you have dated since you're
Since
married.
the divorce
Since the divorce. Wow.
was, yeah, and that was 11 years ago.
So I would be remiss, though, not to go back to this point. Let's go back to your wife's best friend.
Yeah.
So clearly, I mean, I think that says a lot, right? So you guys, you and Kim, who I'm also a huge fan of, met her numerous times, your ex-wife, to have her best friend want to set you up with Lynne, I think that speaks volumes about your relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. And her name is Terry, and she knows me about as well as anybody. And I think that helped in the scenario because she could sort of vouch for me. And even though I've made a lot of mistakes and did in my marriage as well, Lynne knew all of those things. And I think that helped diffuse the situation a little bit. And as I shared with you earlier, the reason I shared so much on the first date was I didn't want her, if it progressed from there, I didn't want her to find out stuff 6 months later that may alter how she felt about the situation. So I just laid it out there. I mean, I didn't throw up on her, but I told her pretty much everything. And then she reciprocated, and I think it set the tone for safety to have the conversation.
Mark, I think you're so hard on yourself when you say, when you talk about, all the mistakes I've made. Don't you think he's hard on himself? Because we all make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah,
It takes a lot of all the blame on him.
You're such a class act.
I guess I have a perfectionism in my blood or whatever, and I base things on how they should have been. And it took me a long time to get to a place of forgiveness for things, which we don't need to really discuss that, but it's how I deal with things, it's how I process. And I try to live my life at a certain standard. And if I felt like I've dipped below that, then yeah, I've been hard on myself for that.
Well, that's probably honestly what's made him made you so successful as a pro player, because perfection. I mean, perfection is everything. But back to the two of you, which is perfect too. All right, did they not look like Cinderella and Prince Charming? Okay, seriously. I mean, we're going to get to the point. It's true. We're going to get to the point where we have like viewers that can actually, like weigh in during the show. And I'm sure if they could right now, that's what they would say. But I would encourage people to comment after the show runs. So, Lynne, do you remember the precise moment when you laid eyes on Mark? And Mark, do you? We could start with you, Lynne.
The first time when he was introduced to me?
Yeah, like when you first saw him.
Oh, yes. It was at a volleyball tournament, and he was coming up with his little sidekick, his daughter, 6 years old, wearing the cutest little dress and cowboy boots, looking up at her daddy, like, to where just like, oh, he was like the king to her. And I'm like, whoa, wait. That's him? I was like, because all I saw was a headshot of him, and so I didn't see everything.
It was actually a broadcasting photo, so I had makeup and stuff on, and she's just
I'm
like,
I'm used to that, guys wearing makeup, So,
makeup.
So then he walks
the whole
up.
body and everything come out, because she says, yeah, he works out and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, he works out, that's good. I'm like, but then, oh, yeah, he works out, because you saw like abs coming through his shirt. I was like, yeah, that guy definitely works out. But just the way his daughter was looking at him too, it was just like so endearing and so sweet, and made like his aura just so glowing. And I feed off of good auras, and so I think he kind of had a little bit of me right there. I think it was his daughter, but it was.
Yeah, my secret weapon worked for sure.
She's definitely been my.
But as I walked up, I shared with you earlier, she was standing there, and then one of her friends, who's an attractive woman as well, was standing there, and I was just like, I was kind of like, hope it's one on the left. And it was no disrespect.
Did you not know which one it was?
I'd never,
a tall blonde that's it.
I'd never seen a picture of her. I didn't Google her. I didn't do any of that stuff because, as I shared, I didn't have an agenda with her. I was just going to meet her and see if there was a fit, and we'd go have a nice dinner or whatever. So when we walked up, again, I had a feeling it was her, but I was like, I hope it's kind of leaning toward the left. And then we spoke briefly, but there was definitely something there, I think, from both of us, at least an interest level. And she was just new to dating again because she hadn't dated since she was 18, and I was not interested in really getting into anything. And then that's why I think it's so good and why it works so well is because there wasn't an agenda or a plan. We weren't searching for what we found, and it was just there. People that knew us, they vouched for us. They told us all the things that they thought we should know about each other, and then it was up to us to figure it out from there. Now, I've had a lot of time after the divorce to evaluate what love is. What am I looking for? And what kind of person do I want to be when I find it? And that's what my focus was. I was trying to become the best person I could, and I just felt confident that I would interact or intersect with someone who was a good fit. And it happened when I wasn't looking for it.
And here you guys are. I know when you search for it, sometimes you don't find it. So Mark, back to that day though on the volleyball court, and you said you knew that there was some type of chemistry, but do you think you knew though deep down that you'd be in a long-term relationship when you saw Lynne that day?
I don't think so, because I wasn't thinking in those terms, and there was so much to be discovered because I didn't really know her other than hello, how are you, and we talked briefly. So yeah, I didn't have any thoughts about what it might develop into, but I was willing to find out, and I think she was too. And again, I mean, she gets tons of opportunities, and she just wasn't at a place where she was ready to accept them. So having said that, she was at a place now where she was open to the possibilities, and I think that's kind of where things began.
And so how long after you guys met, when you guys actually saw each other on the volleyball court, did you go out on your first date?
It was 2 weeks.
How many days was it before I called you?
Oh, 3. He did the whole 3-day thing.
Oh.
And that wasn't intentional. It really wasn't.
Wait, what is it about? What is it about, like, the 3-day thing? Do you think there really is such a thing as
They
the
don't want to
3-day
feel too eager, you know. You have to do it.
Well, that's the thing that I was, I assumed that she probably got a lot of attention, a lot of people coming at her, and I didn't want to be that guy. So it wasn't a game or anything. It was just, I was responding on how I felt like I was pushed to respond without any agenda, but just, okay, this seems right. Let me pursue this, and that's kind of how I proceeded. So I didn't want to, I just met you, I'm going to call you in an hour and then like bombard you, and she go, oh, no, this guy's desperate, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So this is really interesting because you open up a door, a point about playing it right, no pun intended. Do you think,
See what you did there?
do you think that men sometimes do need to play it right? Like, what if Mark had called you within an hour of meeting or something? Do you think that might have changed your opinion? It's hard to say, I know.
Yeah, it is hard to say because I don't know. It's
because here you guys sit today.
That way, yeah.
Maybe I should rephrase.
I would always take his call because I know him now.
Right. So maybe let me rephrase this question. And maybe from a man's perspective, right, Mark? Is it important for a guy to play it right?
Well, by playing it right, I think that is very accurate, but what is right? Playing games is not right. I don't think game playing is right, but I think playing it right is important. And it's a situation where you have to ask yourself, what are you in it for? What are you looking for? What do you want out of it? What are you willing to do? And then move forward on those instincts. And I think that solves a lot of issues. But the game playing is, that's what everybody does. And what's the point? You're telling things that aren't true. And you're building a potential relationship on potential lies. That doesn't make sense to me.
And here you guys are, by playing it right 10 years later. Right, with that, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, more on the love story of Mark Royals and Lynne Thompson. I'd like to call them Cinderella and Prince Charming. Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thinking about getting engaged, planning to upgrade your wedding ring, or finally getting that Rolex?
The Gold and Diamond Source can help you in many ways.
You can start a layaway plan for only 10% down and 6 monthly payments.
Take advantage of our 3 to 5 year interest-free financing.
Or you can trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase.
Come to the Gold and Diamond Source and find that perfect gift for the ones that you love.
Gems with Them is our way to teach you about the birthstones and the different color gemstones each month represents.
Ruby is the birthstone of July, and when we think about red, we think about ruby.
A ruby is the most valuable gemstone, and its value increases based on the color and quality.
And ruby gets its vivid red color from the element chromium, which is where emeralds get their beautiful bright color as well.
It's a great gift to give someone you care about. Come to the Gold and Diamond Source or visit us on social media to learn more about birthstones.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Dating in America. You know, it's so funny, right before we went to the break, of course, you know, I compared Lynn and Mark to Cinderella and Prince Charming, and Lynn said, does not surprise me at all that you were offered a role to play Cinderella.
When I was 21, yes.
Does that surprise you?
Not at all.
Not at all. So I have to say something else that's very, very cute. So you played with Martin Gramatica.
Yep.
So Martin Gramatica and his wife Ashley officially kicked off the Love in America and Dating in America series.
Nice.
No pun intended again. But Lynn was so cute. Like before you sat down, she said, you know, I watched several of the shows prior to coming on the show, which I so appreciate you doing that. And she said, but are we really like a Dating in America? I think we're more of a Love in America couple. And I would like to say on the record, for sure, without a doubt, you both do fall into that category. But what we've done for the series, Love in America, are people who are, you know, officially married, like married. Yeah. But you guys have been together longer than a lot of people have been married.
Yeah, it's really, I don't think any of us, the two of us, thought in the beginning, the early stages, that we would be 10 years later. Because I know that I'm a long day in a lot of ways, and I give her a lot of credit because she navigated that. She never tried to alter or change me in any way, ever. She just was who she was, and it inspired me, made me want to be better at a lot of things, including being a better dad, a better friend, just all of it. Like it really made me self-examine, and it's been a blessing for me to have changed as much as I have through the years. And again, it wasn't her trying to, you know, chip me and mold me to something. She was just loving up on me and let me be what I was going to be. And hopefully it's enough.
Lynn, react to that, because you even said too, the rest of the story was, you also said, he is my true love.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's. I get smitten by him every time he looks at me. I know it's weird.
So, no, that isn't weird. Do you really? Like
I do, man. Sometimes it just brings tears to my eyes.
You have tears in your eyes right now. Like what? Like why are you tearing up right now?
Oh, I know. I just know he's my forever, and I'm just so thankful. Like every day that we're together.
Oh my God.
It's just like he's my heart.
So you know, from a female perspective, some people might say, gosh, but they've been together for 10 years, you know, why aren't they married yet? And there's nothing,
we hear it from everybody.
Yeah, and you know what, and honestly,
all the time.
All right, so when you guys hear that, what is your reaction to that?
I just say, I know he's my forever, and it's just, when it happens, but we're just taking every day by, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing that I would do different married to her that I'm doing not married to her. And one thing that I decided when I got divorced was I was never going to do things according to other people's timelines. Yeah. Because it is very typical that if you've been together a certain amount of time, you get the jokes. When are you putting a ring on that? When are you doing all the stuff? But it's not for other people to decide. It's for us to decide, and we'll know when the timing's right to move forward. And plus, when we've both been married, we both have kids. When you've gone down that road before, it's I don't know if the desire, or I don't even know how to say it, is as prevalent to want to jump on that train again, because they didn't work.
Right.
And sometimes that finality of marriage can alter or change things. I don't know that it would, but again, I'm not going to base my decisions on what's next on someone's opinion or what they think is best for us. We have to decide that.
Well, honestly, you know, I interview so many couples, so many single people on the show, and I can say 100% on the record that the two of you seem to have a stronger relationship than even some of the married couples that I've talked to. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be married, right, in the traditional sense. But do you feel there's a lot of societal pressure on that?
Oh, there is, especially with close friends and the family. The family is always the biggest. Every time they see me, or if we go out to dinner, like, did you get a ring yet? It's like, you know.
Is that annoying?
It is. It is annoying.
For lack of a better word.
It is, because some people don't know where to draw the line. They come in too hot and they just carry on, and you're just like,
you'd be like, I'm an officiator, you know, I can officiate right now, we can do it, you know, and I'm like, okay, no, we're good.
But the journey's been both unsuspecting and great, because to find something you're not really specifically looking for, and then it turned into what this has turned into, that's why I know in my soul that it's right, because we weren't pretending, and we've been forthright from day one, and she knows me as well or better than anybody in my life, and there's nothing I wouldn't tell her or share with her, and I think she feels the same way.
I think that's the biggest thing with us is, like, I have 100% trust to him and from him, and I've never had that, like, with anyone, you know, so anything he tells me, I know it's going to be the truth, because he just, I feel that, right?
But you know what, Sarina, it's interesting. This will sound weird, but by being divorced, it prepared me for now.
Yeah, I think that's
And
with me too.
the reason it did is because when I say I self-evaluated after the divorce, I mean, I tore myself apart and tried to kind of rebuild in the most positive way possible. Accepting blame, which you said it earlier, maybe I give myself too much, but to me, that's how you get past those moments, is you're accepting of them and you're honest about them, and then you can move forward from them. And that's what happened, and that's the journey I was on before I met her. And so by trying to become the right person, I found the right person.
Oh my gosh, that line, by trying to,
Cute.
that is so sweet. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I have to say, so Doug Smith is a very good, great friend of mine. He's a wonderful friend. He's a DuPont winner, an incredible journalist, a friend of yours. And so I said to him, I said, Doug, I really want Mark Royals to do multiple shows with us, right? But I want him to come on Dating in America. And he's like, oh, Sarina, come on. He's too private. There's no way he's going to go on Dating in America. But this is what, I mean, it melted my heart when you said, I want to do the show because I hope that my story can help other people out there. And it's just what you were just talking about.
Yeah, and I think it runs a lot deeper too, because we've had the discussion that there's finding love after divorce, but there's also, how do you make the life that you have blend with someone else's life, including the ex-spouse, the kids, and all that. So I shared with you earlier, my kids got to know her organically through volleyball. It wasn't like I was bringing someone into their life and now this woman's going to take over for their mother, or whatever kids think. I was so protective in the beginning of that relationship that I didn't do a lot of things that she wanted me to do with her family, because I never wanted my kids to look at her and go, that's the woman's taking my daddy away. Don't know if that would have happened, but I was protective of that too. So that's why I say her patience made this all work, because I mean, I was difficult at times. And I wasn't intentionally being that way, but I was just being protective of, or how I saw my life and my surroundings, and how I was going to make all that work.
And gel together.
And gel together.
So Lynn, speaking to that, how hard was it at that time? Was it difficult for you? And what advice would you give to other women out there?
Well, my hard time, like what he said, is like every time that we have the family get-togethers, like the Easters, Thanksgivings and stuff, that he wasn't able to go to. And so my family's all about like family united, you know, and everything. And so they're like, why isn't he come? Does he not like us? And I'm like, them getting to know, like, he does have a family of his own. He has to go where they go, you know. And like, well, bring him over. We can have everybody, because that's how my family is. But it's different because you just want them to like he said, not let them feel like I'm taking them away from their time. And
well, there's so many people, because I'm a private person, as you mentioned. Doug alluded to that, but I'm very private, and a lot of people misread me and think things about me, like he's this way or whatever. She's had friends that would say things that weren't kind because I'm quiet and private. And
I'd be like, just
once they spend time with me, if I can spend time with someone, because I'm like a reality person. No game playing, no lies, it's just not my thing. And people place judgment on you based on what they think you are. And so some of her friends have had bad opinions of me until they spent time with me.
From just hearsay of other people.
From what they may have heard, or he was a football player, so he's this based on that. That's not always accurate. So those are the kind of things that I was trying to navigate with people. And then, you know, I think if I spend time with you, you're going to get the real me, and then you can make a decision on whether, you know, I'm your friend or not.
Well, the word that comes to my mind when it comes to you is class act from the very beginning. No, honestly. And so Lynn, when you were talking about that, like early on with the Easters and the holidays and everything, and Mark not being there perhaps, but that shows your patience, right? And when you love someone, can you share that? Yeah, and can you share that? Like when you love someone,
patience is a huge thing in any relationship, patience and trust and stuff.
Which I've learned a lot from her, patience.
He's definitely had a short patience when I first knew him.
So you can tell her the story about when you first decided you thought you were falling in love with me.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a good one. The
that
volleyball
was at another volleyball tournament, and he was sitting there and he was prepping his daughter, you know, on the
She's
side.
a setter, so I was warming her up before.
Warming up. And so he was doing that. I watched him. He did that for like, 15 minutes, and then he had his sick daughter that was laying on 3 chairs. So then he is done with that one daughter, comes over puts the other daughter on his lap, and then is rubbing her head, and then recording with the iPad of his. And I was just like, wow. I was like, yeah, I'm over. Like,
he's the one.
I'm done. He's the one. Yes.
And how long was that into the relationship?
6 months.
6 months. So we're already out of time, but that line, Mark, when you said being your best self, trying to find your best self, you found your true life partner, and after this, after 6 months, just watching him, you guys are out of a fairy tale.
We could spend hours with you. I mean, it's a great story. We've lived it, and we've tried to do things the right way. And hopefully people will be responsive to what they see and maybe think of their situation in a different light. That's what we're hopeful.
Well, you guys are for sure going to come back because we've decided to do part 2 of this Dating in America, Love in America series.
Sure.
Oh
Anytime,
my gosh.
we'd love to come back.
It was so wonderful having you guys. I'd like to say to the audience too, if there is a couple you would like to recommend, or if you would even like to be on the show, just email us. Email is right there. Also, feel free to share the show on social media platforms. We're on every single one of them. And we're also on Roku. Back here in the studio, Mark Royals, Lynne Thompson. Again, thank you so much. But can I just call you Cinderella and Prince Charming now?
Sure, we'll take it.
That's what I'm going to call you guys.
Sarina, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Gems with Them is our way to teach you about the birthstones and the different color gemstones each month represents.
Ruby is the birthstone of July.
And its value increases based on the color and quality. Come to the Gold and Diamond Source or visit us on social media to learn more about birthstones.